seems to be a month for a lot of changes. Those who have brought in change and those who are promising change to make this place a better place. ठीक है यार, जो भी. पूज्य गुरुजी took to the position of leadership way back 23 years ago. In 93, Puja Gurudev attained Mahasamadhi, and then Puja Guruji was selected as the next successor. And for 23 long years, he has done a very challenging job, seem very easy. To run a family of husband, wife, 2 kids, one house mortgage, 1 vehicle or 2 vehicle mortgage, any other mortgages, and taking care of them, how difficult or how easy is it? Is it difficult? Imagine to take care of 430 plus centers in 29 different countries. I mean, that mammoth size itself is quite scary. And on the top of it, to be constantly on the move. Every 7th day, 8th day, traveling to a new place, new environment, new weather. And the worst of it is new time zones and new kind of food. Once we go out somewhere and eat and come and say, I think something upset me. Imagine for somebody who has to eat every meal cooked by somebody. And this is not the only thing. This is while traveling, taking care of all these different centers. Now for Gurudev, who initiated this entire movement, his prowess was different. Because he was the hub. He initiated it. Various schemes, various themes, various projects to reach out to the masses. But as the next successor, to be able to take it to a newer height, it's not easy. And if you look at Puja Gurudev and Guruji, they were always, and I always saw them as such striking contrast. They were diagonally opposite. Gurudev was more of a Jnana Pradhana. And in the video you saw that he was trying to fight his tears as even he was mentioning Gurudev's name or Tapon Maharaj's name or Shivanandji's name. So he's more of a Bhakti Pradhana. Of course, physically if you look at it, he was a 6+ footer and Guruji is just about 5+. And Gurudev was very dramatic when he would come onto the stage and deliver his lectures. Until the punchline was delivered, we would not recognize that that was being a slap, straight smack into our face. And then we would also laugh at it. Guruji was very simple. His even sentences were very simple. There was a man, and that man went here. And somewhere in between, he finds something humorous, and he would pause. Let me tell you a joke. Pre-announce it. And with that simple mindset, with all that Gurudev had brought to the forefront, to be able to sustain it across the globe, and then to take it to a newer height. It's a mammoth task. And he successfully had done this for 23 straight years. You and I sometimes talk about taking a break, going on a vacation. How often do you all take a vacation? Once a year? Okay, once a year. Now here is a man who has not taken a vacation in 23 years, and yet continue the whole work with a smile on his face without ever feeling the brunt of it or being burnt out. It's only in scriptures, Puranas, that we have heard of great rishis and kings, like King Bharata. He was in the prime of his time when he thought that I have done all that which I am supposed to. Now my time is done. Let me give it to my children. To be able to give up that power, authority willingly. Many of us keep hankering for it all our life. And he willingly steps down. And if you look at the video, one thing that struck me when I was watching it live was there is a saying, a Subhashita, which says, Vidya Vinayena Shobhate. What is the true understanding that somebody is really educated? That education should shine through them as humility. Vinayena Shobhate. And here is a man who has given his entire life, 23 years. I mean, not that before that he was not giving. He was at a different role. For 23 years he has given, and he comes onto the stage and he says that you have never given me an opportunity to ask for forgiveness. Now here is my opportunity to say so. And I'm thankful for you for all the things that you have forgiven me for. And that speaks volumes about his humility and his grounded nature. And with the ease with which he thought, this happened about 5 years ago when we had a conference of all the senior Swamis in Chinmaya Mission. So in that meeting, Guruji announced that he is planning to step down the very next year. There's another senior Swamiji called Swami Brahmanandji. He is in charge of Karnataka. Sometimes when we keep playing the bhajans, the sweet voice that you hear is his voice. So he stepped in and he said, I don't think you can afford resigning for next 5 years. He said, why? Puja Gurudev's centennial is coming, the 100th year. And we would want you to be an active part of that centennial celebration. And after that, you may resign. And that just finished last year. And in January, he says, I'm done. I'm stepping down. To have that clarity. And as he has explained himself, what will he do after this? His passion is teaching. Imagine, while traveling constantly, one continent to the other, to the other, to the other, to the other. His itinerary, if you look at it, there's never a break period, pause period, downtime, constantly traveling for 23 years. And handling 430 centers and 400 Swamis and Acharyas and different devotees, millions of them, responding to their emails. And I myself, once I was his, he gave me the task of being his secretary for a couple of weeks. On a day, he gets about 11, 1200 emails. And none of them are junk emails. We have this offer and you can go buy, or they have something discount. Nothing of such. They were all either board minutes or a special situation is center asking for some solution, or financial conditions, or something or other constantly demanding his attention. Now that whole administrative role is now shifted to the next generation, he plans to focus, dedicate the rest of his time in teaching, nurturing the grassroots activities of getting this knowledge across and training people in this very knowledge. And the next head that has been chosen, before I speak about him, henceforth, see, when Gurudev started, people started referring to him as Gurudev, and that became his nickname. Everybody lovingly started referring to Swami Chinmayanandaji as Gurudev. And when Swami Tejomayanandaji was selected as the head, they were already calling him as Guruji, so it continued. So we were all wondering, what should we call the next head? So then we went into the bylaws written by Gurudev. There he has mentioned that those who become the head, they should be referred to as Pramukh, not Swami, Pramukh, Mukhya Swami. So henceforth, anybody who becomes the head will be referred to as Mukhya Swamiji. So that Mukhya Swamiji role is now with Swami Swarupanandaji. And he started in the mission as a young Yuva Kendra member way back in the 70s. Then his family, they expanded their business and they moved to Hong Kong. So he also moved to Hong Kong, got educated there, and then further spread the business to Singapore while being in touch with Gurudev. Then in mid-80s, he thought it was his time to give that up and join the mission full-time. And since then, he has taken various roles. In fact, most of the mission centers that have started, other than India and North American continent, can be accredited to his effort. So the Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Bali, Jakarta, then Australia, there are about 6 centers in Australia, 3 centers in New Zealand, 1 in Japan, then moving to the African continent, South Africa, Tanzania, Namibia, and I think there was 1 or 2 more countries there. Uganda, I think. Uganda is also one of them. Kenya, right. And then in the European belt, Switzerland, Poland, France, London, all these centers were practically nurtured and started by Swami Swarupanandaji. And rightfully so, he has been selected as the next successor. Not just selected, he has already been handed down the responsibility, and this happened just a couple of days ago. And since this is a extended family of Chinmaya Mission, we did want to share what has happened. And since I conduct the youth empowerment program, so in the last Mahasamadhi camp when he was here, so I had asked him if he would bless the youth empowerment kids who will enroll in the final day ceremony. So he gladly agreed. So as soon as he agreed, I came and informed the board here that he is anyway coming to Dallas because he has agreed. Why don't we zero in on to extend those days so that the community here can benefit his presence. So mark your calendars, August 5th through 10th. Puja Swamiji will be here. He will be conducting various discourses, and you'll have the opportunity to meet him and talk to him one on one, and even offer bhiksha. So if you're in town, not on a vacation, and this is something not to be forgotten. It will be his first visit to Dallas as the Mukhya Swami. So keep your calendars marked. It's not something I would advise for you to miss. It's a very beautiful opportunity. Any questions with regards to the video or any other thing that I have just explained? Swami Tejomananji, his last visit to US was to Dallas, the Mahasamadhi camp. And he announced it there, saying that that would be his last visit to US ever. And in fact, he has taken Kshetra Sannyasa, that he would not step out of India ever again. So let's see if it can be changed. And that is from our side, but he has taken a decision. Any questions? No? Okay, good. I have about 20 plus minutes. So in these 20 minutes, sometimes in the Yuva Kendra classes, monthly once, I give them a session called AMA. Ask me anything. Though after having given that opportunity, I definitely feel, Amma, why did I give them this opportunity? They end up asking all kinds of questions. So these 20 minutes can be used for that. Ask me anything reasonably with respect to what we have been learning, or with respect to Hinduism. What is the static sound that is coming? One of the mics or one of the feed from the YouTube or something is still there. When we turn our minds off consciously, this is how the experience is. Until it turns off, we don't even realize that there is so much of noise in there. Did you find a sense of relief? Imagine for a lifetime worth noise happening, clutter happening, the ability to have a remote to turn it off. मजा आ जाएगा ना? Meditate. What is your understanding of meditation? I have never been reciprocated for my questions to be good. Thank you. I like the disclaimer at the end. Otherwise, I was like gearing up to really chew that first portion out. For eternity, we have encircled dhyana or meditation with a mystical enigma. That you sit, close your eyes, something happens. If that was true, then we could have made a sequel of Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. The way you put it, कि कुछ होता है, something happens. In fact, meditation often falls under the category in English grammar as a verb, but it is not a verb. It is a noun. It is one's own state of being. Many aspire to practice meditation for fringe benefits. I am trying to meditate or learn to meditate so that I can reduce my blood pressure, so that I can reduce my whatever, stress. But those are all byproducts. We are in Texas, so we should know, when you drill for natural oil, the crude oil, it goes through various levels of processing. What is the main product that we drill this crude oil for? Gasoline, petrol, the various other products. There is natural gas, then there is gasoline, then there is diesel, there is kerosene, there's paraffin. Do you know what is left out at the end? That left out product is called tar, with which they make these asphalt roads. They mix it with stone of different sizes, then lay it out and then run a road roller over it and flatten it. If somebody were to say that I am drilling crude oil so that I can get tar, as a business proposition, would it be advisable that should be the purpose, that should be the motive, that should be the end goal of drilling crude oil? That's a byproduct which will be anyway left behind. All these fringe benefits that we talk about in meditation are like tar. I have not yet spoken about what is meditation. I want to remove the unnecessary filth that has come across and being marketed as meditation first out. Then the second thing that I observe is there is a lot of focus done about the ambience for meditation. Dim light, a waterfall, and then there is Zen music. And there are apps also for that. On both platforms, there are enough apps. Meditation music. There are meditative, the oils, effervescence, incense sticks. Oh, that bells, singing bowls. Have we been even given meditative mat? Pure organic meditative mat. And the most hilarious thing that I have been ever given with meditation on it is soap. I still have not used it because I'm yet to figure out what in heaven does it mean. That in a shower, when I'm applying that soap, suddenly I start levitating. What if I go beyond the level of the shower head and the soap doesn't come out? I keep hanging in there. I don't know. It's my imagination. That we create all this ambience in the name of meditation. And meditation has got nothing to do with such things directly or indirectly. Unnecessary filth added in because it is marketable. Because there are enough gullible people who will fall for it. One of the apps that I was talking is $14. Swamiji, why were you looking at it? No, I was, that was shared to me, forwarded to me. Swamiji, आप भी try कीजिए. आप में कुछ कम लगता है. Okay, these are not meditation. What is meditation? What is the purpose of meditation? Have you seen the Jason Bourne movie? Some ultimate something. Bourne Ultimatum and this and that. There were 4 of them, I think. What is the main issue of that fellow in that movie? Identity crisis. He has forgotten who he is. Right? And he is trying to identify himself. Meditation is that subtle process to know one's own true identity, one's own true nature. So it is not an accomplishment. It is not something that you are trying to acquire. See, you don't have an Apple Watch, you have to go buy it. Or you have to keep suggesting it to your spouse. One day it will land as a gift. One way or the other to acquire it, that which you don't have. Or that which is not there, things have to be put together to create it. So it is not something to create either. Neither to acquire nor to create. Rather, instead, it is, I love that word, recognizing one's own true nature. To cognize is to know. Recognize, I've forgotten it, I have to rekindle it. I have to know my true nature. And knowing that true nature is not the field of activity for either the mind nor for the intellect. Definitely it is not an activity at a body level. Therefore, meditation is not about feelings. Swamiji, I sat in meditation, I had this feeling. If you are still feeling, you will feel very harshly that that is not anything to do with meditation. It is not about intellectual grasping of an idea or a concept either. The noise of the mind and intellect to be shut down so that I am absorbed in that state of silence wherein I recognize my own true nature, and that nature is of consciousness. To be conscious is to know. You don't need another equipment to know that whose nature is verily to know. Does it make sense? So all the activity that goes on in the name of meditation at the most can be said as preliminary preparation for meditation, and truly not meditation. Japa is used to control the mind with a single thought repeated so often that no other thought becomes a distraction. Intellectual contemplation on the higher self is so that the intellect doesn't unnecessarily ask questions of doubts or clarification. Once that clarification is done, that noise of the intellect is put aside, put to rest. And to be able to do that, the main primary preliminary requisite is that the 23.5 hours of our waking world where we perform karma meaning interacting with anything around, starting from our mind, intellect to the outside world, to be done in such an aptitude wherein I am doing every single act selflessly as a dedication for a higher altar. That there is no more itch to do something when I sit on the seat of meditation. When these three are done, we have just acquired the prerequisites to be able to glide into meditation. Pranayama helps to control the mind. Nothing beyond that. Yoga sadhana, in its own first preface, it says, Yogaha chitta vritti nirodhaha. It only silences the mind. Beyond which to recognize meditation alone is the process. Now you are all sitting there trying to ask, what do I recognize? Recognizing your own true nature. Karma yoga. Your interactions with the outside world to be performed with selflessness and an act of dedication to the higher altar. I covered it. Once that is done, when I'm sitting, how difficult or easy is it to maintain one thought repeating again and again without any distractions from outside? Are you there? If you have reached to that state wherein you can willfully sit and repeat the mantra over a period of time, undistracted, consistently, without eruption of any other thought in between, then focus on that mantra, not for chanting it, but to recognize the origin of that sound that which the mantra is shaping up into. Where does it originate from? And where does it merge itself back into? When you say Om, where does it merge into? Into that silence. To be that conscious silence without any thought occurring is to be in meditation. I'm trying to put it in as simple terms as possible to understand. What was my definition of being in meditation? Now, to be in conscious silence. When you are sleeping, you are in silence. But you are not in conscious silence. You are in unconscious silence. To be in conscious silence wherein you are alert, awake, vigilant, and yet there is not even a ripple of thought moving. And to abide in that silence in such a way that even if the mind is functioning, the intellect is interacting and evaluating, that silence, that core is not lost. To carry it forward in various interactions. That would be the next step. But even such individual has to keep practicing to go back to that conscious silent stage again and again. Somebody who has reached to a point wherein that conscious silence has become their nature, unperturbed, such one is liberated from the shackles of mind and intellect. That is called liberation. Was I able to communicate? Do you understand the steps? What is on my hand? His question was, if my thoughts are not moving, how will I know that I am conscious? Uh-huh. I'm on the right track. I understood your question. What is on my hand? What is it? You don't need to see. I'm not Trump with some long claims to be wanting to see in between. Just a simple question. What is on my hand? White sheet of paper. Now what is on my hand? You recognize the presence of something on my hand. You also recognize the absence. Right? Now, I'll take this example in a subtler way. At your intellectual processing, where understanding is happening, there are certain themes that I know I understood. There are some things that I know I did not understand. Who is it that is cognizing both the aspect that I understood as well as that which I am not able to understand? That is called consciousness, which does not require active participation, movement of the intellect or thought, but that which observes the thought. Therefore, thought processing becomes redundant. At this point, I can know anything only because my thoughts say so. That becomes a limitation in itself. Because the nature, my true nature, is of consciousness. Therefore, I don't require a processing to recognize it. It is self-illumining. How do you know when your stomach is full? Can anybody from external parameter decide when you are full? Say it again. When you burp, that is your body signal saying, "Bas kar bhai, enough." You alone can decide it, as much as that is subjective. If somebody says, "Sharam kar," your brother is eating 8 rotis, you just stopped at 4. It is his stomach, my stomach is different. Right? I'll know when I'm full. Similarly, is the subjective understanding of that consciousness being my nature You reach to that point wherein you can maintain one thought, repeating it, and it merging into that silence, and you will see what I'm saying. Trying to grasp that experience through processing, you cannot. You will know it when you get there. Haji. Yes. Yes. My now effort is to continue it in spite of the cell phone ringing, not losing that peace there, that silence there. It doesn't matter which mantra you take. Whoever is your Ishtadeva, take that mantra. To come to a point wherein there is no other distractions whatsoever. That is the key. Of what statement? What is your name? Monica. When I look at you and say, Sharada, what do you feel? I am not Sharada. When I say, Monica, what do you feel? It's me, right? But that name, that tag is for this physical appearance, right? But the deepest sense of cognition of me, without these attributes, that core of my existence is what is being referred to, which cannot be fathomed by your intellect or mind. They are not the right tools to cognize. We'll come to more discussion. It's just in 6th chapter, the whole chapter is about that. So we'll go through that systematically. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.